All right, it's a pleasure to have the newest head coach of the FIU Panthers join us, head coach Jesyka Burks-Wiley, who will lead the women's basketball team this upcoming, coming across the state from USF, now here in Miami. Coach, thanks for taking some time. Welcome to FIU. And I want to ask, it's been about a week since to FIU was announced. What have the past 7 or 6 days been like? It's probably as unique a scenario in coaching as you'll ever walk into, I can imagine.
Absolutely. Definitely a lot more Zooms and FaceTimes than I've ever done in my entire life, I think I've done in these last 7 days. So that has definitely been quite the transition to walk into, but it's been really great, and I think probably one of the biggest blessings in disguise out of this entire time is it's allowed me to really focus in and get to know my team better. Yeah. A lot of times if we were in a normal day and time, you're on campus, you've got workouts, you're preparing for some type of eval period, but having the chance to kind of be forced to sit still and be able to dialogue with my players, that's probably been the biggest bonus that has come out of this time.
We were talking with Coach Butch Davis yesterday about their norm right now, what they're trying to make their norm. And, it's a lot of unique situations, maybe going to Publix or UPS to weigh themselves, or putting a mattress in the back of a pickup truck and doing high jumps or squat jumps into the back of mattresses. Very unique stuff.
Yes.
But this is the time where they would be having spring workouts. What is the priority or emphasis for you here? Is it just a lot of interaction and getting to know them, or are you hopefully trying to put together a workout plan, a weight plan? What's priority? What's important? How do you try to assess and gauge what to do and what's important right now?
Well, Rome wasn't built in a day. So, of course, after the initial press conference with the girls, your mind is racing. We've got to sign kids. We've got to, skill development plans and lifting plans. And like I said, I had to kind of take a step back, and as great as those things sound and as important as they all are, it really means nothing if we don't have a great buy-in initially. So that for me has been the number one priority overall, is making sure that they know coming in who I am, what my beliefs are, what my vision for this program is. And it's a great advantage because now we have no other distractions. They're wrapping up classes, going into finals. Some of them actually done with their finals. So to be able to have this time with little to no distractions, to really be able to pick each other apart and what makes you tick, what makes you happy. That's such an amazing experience. So that's been priority number one.
All right, Coach, I want to talk about your journey, and we'll start with your, playing at a high level is not a prerequisite for a great coach. You go down the road to the AAA. Eric Spoelstra, he's a video coordinator when he got started. But Coach, you could hoop. You could hoop really well. You were the American East Player of the Year and 2,000 points. You crashed the glass, 500 rebounds, and averaged nearly 18 a game. Just what was your time at Boston like? You were a Kansas City native. So what led to you attending BU? And just talk to me about what your mentality was as a player and all your contributions you had over there at BU when things got started. And you started to have your philosophy as a player, which I'm sure carried over to your coaching.
I had a great career at BU on and off the court. I was very fortunate to be brought in by a staff that, of course, basketball-wise, great basketball minds that to this day I still ring their phones and, pick their minds about different things, but just also really great people. And that for me, I had to pass a lot of schools to get to Boston from the Midwest. And it really emphasized for me how important it is relationship building and fit. I was going into a program that was going to allow me to grow and become the player that I ultimately became, but also I was going to be surrounded by people that were going to be cheering me along the entire way. And so that's something that definitely stuck with me, is that, it doesn't matter, with kids, especially I think in this day and age, it doesn't matter, they don't care what you know. And so that for me, like I said, my time at BU was really, really personified and allowed a really out of shape four-man to come in and have the career that I did. And as much as I would love to say that it was God-given, I was definitely had the great people, great staff around me that helped me get there. I
want to ask one other tangent to that. Was it, I don't want to say culture shock, but was it different being in Boston, or did you have enough of the city feel in Kansas City where it wasn't that difficult an acclimation?
It was like being dropped in a bucket of ice water. I have to admit, one of my favorite stories I love to tell is that I'm moving in freshman summer. I've got an armful of boxes. I'm walking, and I'm originally from the Midwest, and most of my family is actually originally from the South. And so I'm walking, I got a handful of boxes, And so there's a guy behind me. So he races ahead to open the door. So I'm like, oh wow, like that's so nice. He was just tired of walking behind me and raced ahead and left the door in my face. So
Hurry up.
that for me was kind of that intro to like, okay, Jessica, we are not in Kansas City anymore. We are East Coast bound. And so that, definitely was an early wake-up call for me to say the least.
Subtle, but very, very noted.
Yes.
Quickly. That's funny. Well, the next transition, I think that might be fair to say was culture shock. You go from Boston, you go from the United States, you play professionally. You're overseas in Romania, Finland, Portugal, and Belgium. And the theme I hear when talking with folks who played overseas, it's like you have to. It is the road trips, the grind, the practices. It's your job now. It's not just it is your job. Take me through that transition, whether it was on the floor or to do with the culture of being overseas and away from the States. And how did you grow when you were overseas?
I absolutely loved my time overseas, but you're absolutely right. I was very fortunate to kind of get that culture shock out the way, having lived far away from home for 4 years of college. So, of course, it's a little bit further away and a little bit more of a time change, but I really loved my experience because, as you mentioned before, it really allowed me to focus in on basketball. There aren't too many people in the countries that I went to that spoke a lot of English. So very quickly how to communicate in various styles. So that for me allowed me to grow as a person. And I just was able to be immersed in so many different types of cultures, ethnicities and things of that nature, because having been in Boston for the last 4 years, that was my life as well. So to be able to carry that over into the international scene was incredible, but it was also incredible on the floor because I got to play in so many different styles of basketball. I mean, my time in Portugal, it was very fast, finesse basketball. So it was a track race, a lot of games of who can get down the floor the quickest, as opposed to in Belgium, it was very much a half court, grinded out, very physical game, which was completely different as well. So that for me allowed me to kind of pick different pieces of the different places that I have been in and to be able to add them to my, future coaching portfolio and to help me grow not only as a player, but in the future now as a coach.
Coach, did you always know you wanted to get into coaching once your playing career was done, or did that start to take hold throughout your time at Boston or overseas? When did that desire to stay in the game begin for you?
I think I always knew I wanted to be a coach, but I think it was in a more of a roundabout way. My calling, I know from the beginning, has always been to empower young women. Mm-hmm. I've been very fortunate to have some really incredible coaches and my incredible mother that allowed me to get to where I am today. And so it always was in the back of my mind that any way that I could pay that forward, I wanted to, because I have been so blessed in my life to have some really, really incredible coaching and, of course, incredible. And so to be able to pair that with, in my opinion, I'm sure I'll probably get some boos in the back about this, the absolute best game in the world. For me, it was just, it was a match made in heaven. So it allows me to advance our game, advance the women's game, and to help, grow that. But to be able to ultimately affect change on our future in a positive manner, and to help groom young women to go out into the world and completely reshape everything that we've known for the better. I mean, you can't tell me there's a better profession in the world to allow you to do that. So I can't say that I always knew it was going to be coaching, but I knew it was going to be something involved youth and basketball, and coaching allowed me to do both of those things.
You keep working your way up, bigger roles, bigger programs, and the most recent stop, a sustained amount of success. You guys did great things over at US Jose Fernandez's staff with the Bulls, of course, an FIU alum. I know he's fired up. That's your back at his alma mater. You guys take 2 trips to the NCAA tournament, and your first year on staff, you guys go 26-8. And that was the third most in the tenure. What led to that success? Because there's certainly similarities between 2 programs, which will compare, football's goals to what UCF did. But these Central Florida, South Florida, FIU, mid-majors, similarity. What led in your mind to the success you guys were able to have at South Florida?
I think it all started with who we have at the helm in Jose Fernandez. I mean, to be able to be a part of his staff for 3 years, just an immense learning process for me, and I loved it. He was an open book. He was able to anything that I needed, just as coach and wanting to grow, he was available to me. But also the things that he did for the young women on our. So as much as I would love to say it was the facilities, and it ultimately started with him, and it really, really helped kind of light a fire in me as far as, like you said, very similar beginnings. USF was not this perennial that it is now. When Coach Fernandez took it over, I think they had won 4 games. It was not the dynasty that it is now, and he went in and he poured his heart into it. And now, like you said, you've got this top 25 program that just consistently is a problem in women's basketball. And so to be able to be under that tutelage for the last 3 years definitely helped with me knowing FIU was going to be a no-brainer for me, because I had someone that was in that same exact situation that came in and made a legacy of his own. And it really, really helped me and excited me to know that, hey, Jessica, you can go and do the same thing. So I would have to say I have to give all credit to Coach Fernandez with the wonderful things he's done there.
Well, Coach, when there's a new, I think maybe the buzzword or the buzz phrase that a lot of folks wonder or throw out there is brand of basketball. So I want to toss it over to you. Culture too. That's another one.
That's all. That's
anonymous
for the culture.
Culture, brand of basketball. What kind of style do you envision? What kind of, maybe not even style, what kind of brand of basketball? What do you want to be associated with the thoughts people have when they see FIU women's basketball?
Fun, fast, engaging. That's definitely the 3 things that would stick out for me right away. Is we're going to get up and down the floor. We're going to try to make it a track race. I've already told our girls, I want by the first meeting the other team to be looking like they can't keep doing this for 40 minutes, but we've already prepared to be able to go into battle that way. So I look forward to implementing that, but definitely a system where, like I said, of course, as a player, it's going to be really fun to be a part of, but as a fan that you can watch and want to support, but also want to send people from the community to, what they're doing down there at FIU. Like, let's go check out a game, or wanting to send your niece, wanting to send your daughter to be a part of our program. That for me is what I'm ultimately looking forward to building, is something that the community is really proud to have and be a part of.
Can't wait to get that started. Say it again. Fun, fast, exciting, engaging.
Yes.
Fun,
I want you to be in the stands like this. not scrolling on your cell phone.
Put the phones down where they can't break the press. We got it.
Right.
That's awesome. Coach, last thing I want to ask you here. It's fun and it's great. And I'm sure it's meaningful for you, not just this being your first head coaching stop, but coming to a program that has tradition. Cindy Russo obviously did great things at FIU, 18, 20-win seasons, and took to the NCAA tournament 6 times, in the postseason, many more in her tenure as the head coach of FIU. There is tradition. There's history. She proved that it could be done consistently. What does it take in your mind? What will it take? What is important to get FIU back on track to that type of, maybe not 18, 20-win seasons, but to get them back to a place where they've shown that they can be and being successful at FIU?
Honestly, I think it's just belief. You know what I was walking into, the cupboard is by far not empty by any means. We have enough talent within our current team, and then the players that I'm excited to be able to bring in. We have enough things, from players to resources to administrative support to community support to campus support, to be able to get it done. I think it's just going to be belief in getting it done. Because when you believe in yourself and you believe in the vision, everything else just becomes background noise.
Well, you're certainly right. The cupboard is not bare. Some fun returners coming trail hard. That might mean different things. Maybe not the actual
hitting the phones hard.
the digital recruiting trail, but I'm sure you'll get to work nevertheless. Coach, before we go, and I said this yesterday again to Butch, I feel it's obligatory interview any podcast during these times right now. Got to get your scoop right now, if you have any time to. What's on your Netflix, your Hulu? What are you watching right now?
Honestly, I've kind of been on my geriatric workout right now. I go for like neighborhood bikes and walks.
Okay, well, that's better than staring at the screen.
It is. I go out and I feed ducks. So I'm on my senior citizen plan right now. It's been really pleasant, But as far as Hulu, I actually just started, my husband and I, Little Fires Everywhere.
Oh, I've seen.
We're only about 2 episodes deep.
Yeah.
It's so far, it's very good. Like, it's so good, I can't watch it before bed.
Oh,
like, I can have it on like my lunch break. Because like, I start one episode, and I'm like, well, we have to do another one. He's like, it's midnight. We have bed. Like, we have to go to bed right now. So that's been the newest one for us.
I've seen that promoted heavily. I'm also on Hulu, but I'm watching a thing called Superstore, which is like the next dumb comedy, I suppose. But I think it's better than Parks and Recreation or even The Office. So
ooh, that's a bold
statement. If you're looking for something light, you would never expect it because I never hear anyone talk about it. It doesn't have. Appreciate your time. We can't wait for November. Hopefully we're running up and down the floor at that point in time. And once again, welcome to FIU. It's glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for your time. And I'm really, really excited to be joining the family.